Ready for another round? It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
And Matt Anthony. Oh.
I feel like I know that voice.
It is Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. Yours truly, DreZ, along with Big Nate and our special guest. Since it is National Voiceover Day, we have the Bears voice guy, Matt Anthony, joining us for a beer. And I see you do have the Imperial pint glass there, which is a good... Oh, did you get a little spillage? What happened? I missed it.
I did. It did. It decided that it wanted to coat some of the table and not flow into the glass. So yeah, not really sure what to make of that. I generally, store my beers properly. But there it is.
I try to do that as well, but believe it or not, we have paper towels right here handy in the Bear studio for just that occasion.
Those are really going to help him.
It happens quite a while. It happens quite often, actually, on this show. So this segment is more up my speed. Matt said, we want to do Pilsners, and then let's try and do some double IPAs because, like us, we already alluded to, likes the big beers. And so I was down there at the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store, and Mikey was telling me about this bad boy. New Orthodox, the Indian Pale Ale Series, the Boss Tweed, coming in at 9.3%. It says right here it's got malt, pills, wheat, oat, Vienna. Boil hops include Magnum, Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, dry hops, Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, and Azaka. Am I saying that right? You probably know better than me. Haze is good. Drink cold, drink fresh. Don't freak out. Sediment. It can be, what can you do about it? Oh, it says to roll the can. I didn't do that. That just means that your second half, you're going to get all the sediment, which I'm going to be jealous of, man, because I always like it. Floaties are delicious. I always love getting the floaties, but that is a good, thick, amazing beer. Yes, and I can already tell you were talking about your Pilsner aroma. When I popped that and poured it, all I could do was just smell goodness going into that glass. I think I am going to really, really enjoy this beer.
So it sounds like DIPAs are your go-to style, huh?
Oh, they're definitely one of my favorites. I mean, the bigger the better. So give me a triple and those very rare quad IPAs. We've still been trying to track down and get enough for a quad IPA show. They're very few and far between, but I would say DIPAs are the more readily available favorite style of mine. Triples are probably my actual favorite. So,
Gotcha.
Nate, what do you got?
So, full disclosure, I may have shot myself in the foot with this one. So when we did the Deftones beer a couple weeks back, I had to hit my shipping minimum to get that beer shipped here.
Oh yeah.
And I am currently drinking a Duckzilla Double White IPA, and I have no knowledge of this beer at all. We kind of just remembered it was in the beer fridge. It's a 8.6 ABV, 95 IBUs. I picked it because it's the Ducks, and I was hoping that my Anaheim Ducks would have a better season than they did. But we're going to see what this beer is all about. According to the brewery, this rare monster is a hybrid of a friendly white ale and a double IPA, bringing a kaiju level of deliciousness. Duckzilla is brewed with wheat to give it a pale white color and a slight sweetness in the finish. At its core, this is definitely a hop-forward beer, bitter and heavily dry hopped with a combination of Centennial, Cascade, and Citra hops.
Okay, so 2 questions.
So we're going to ride that.
Well, actually, maybe 3. So, all right, what's the ABV?
8.6.
And where are they? What was the brewery again, and where are they from?
Duckfoot, and it actually does not seem to have...
It's on there somewhere.
My lock is there.
While you're looking for it, I forgot. I noticed it in the symbol down here, so I don't know. Maybe you're familiar with them, Matt. New Orthodox. They're out of Williamston, Michigan. I know that's your neighbors over there, Ohio. I know you guys have those rivalries, so they're right there. I don't know if you're familiar with this brewery.
Yeah, well, first of all, in Ohio, we're not allowed to actually say the word Michigan.
Yeah.
We say that place up north. But no, I'm kind of familiar with that brewery. I've had something from that brewery. It might have been like a dark. No, it might have been an Oktoberfest, but I'm mildly familiar with that brewery.
Okay. And then the other thing that, and I guess I might serve it up to Matt because I'm curious. I don't know if I've ever had a double white IPA, so that intrigues me. Yeah, I don't think that's come across me. So I'll be interested to try that.
No, I think they made it up. They're from San Diego.
Oh, San Diego, which translates to
a whale's vagina.
Yeah, thank you. What do you got over there, Matt?
Well, I decided to try something from Taft's Ale House in Cincinnati, a city, by the way, that has not only an enormous brewing tradition, but I would say probably 7 or 8 years ago was one of the crappiest beer cities in the state. I mean, I remember meeting a buddy of mine in Nashville for a Reds game. We're sort of baseball fans. And we had a lot of trouble finding a beer in Cincinnati. Flash forward, and you can't swing a Reds jersey in that town and not hit a brewery. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow.
This is from Taft's, TAFT''S. It's called Paint the Town Hoppy, double IPA. It sits at 8.6%. I have to say this beer is a luxurious color, very hazy, a mild amount of sediment in the glass. It's too bad that I'm staring at this minute little bit of stuff on the table because just aroma-wise, I just want to place my tongue on this table.
Yeah, you might need to get a straw and surf it up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I know what you mean. When some of the good beers go to waste that way, man, it can be a bit painstaking. So, I mean, this is a beer show, and you're doing a really, really killer job at keeping it on beer. We usually deviate and talk about all sorts of craziness, but I am curious because I mean, like I said, we've been working with each other for years, and I could be wrong, but I believe you've been the voice guy for the Bear that supersedes me. I mean, I've been here for almost 15 years. And I think you were here at the start of the Bear, right? Which I think would have been 23 years ago at this point.
Yeah. I know that I was when your previous owner actually assigned me the Bear, and I was on several of their stations, and that's when I first heard about the New River Valley, and that's the first time I voiced it. And and I think I might have been at the same time working in Washington D.C. at the time, so that had to be the early 2000s, when I first came across the Bear as a client station. So yeah, it's been a good amount of time.
Yeah. So you used to live and work in D.C. then?
I used to live and work in D.C. twice, actually, throughout my career.
Okay.
Yeah, so as my wife knows, I'm a radio vagabond.
Yeah. So that was my next question, because I mean, obviously, you've been doing this, for quite a while. When did you start, I guess, in radio, and when did your voice work over? So are you still doing any just regular? Were you on air? Were you did you just eventually realize I just have this awesome voice, so I'll just start doing voiceovers? Or give us a little background,
what was the
man.
genesis?
Yeah. Well, I think I was like a lot of people. I just wanted to be on the air, and I spent time on the air. I'm from Northeast Ohio. I'm from Canton, Ohio. So the Pro Football Hall of Fame is like 8 blocks, from my house. And so I spent a good amount of my early career in Northeast Ohio, working in Cleveland, Akron, Canton. And but I always was sort of amazed by the station voice. I mean, even though I didn't have the voice of Don LaFontaine or Chris Corley or Mitch Craig, I really admired those people, not just the voice, but what they could do by being the branding part of that. And it stemmed from my enjoyment of, advertising and marketing and writing copy and going into the production studio as a prod guy, later in my career after I got my fill of being on the air. And so even though I was doing voice work for radio stations, I was still doing a lot of imaging. So in the last 15 years, most of the work I've done as far as imaging are all spoken word formats, especially sports, news, talk, and sports. And I came from that era when J-Corps, before they turned into Clear Channel, were imaging news talk stations like rock stations. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were using, Megadeth tracks underneath Dr. Laura and Paul Harvey. And that just changed my whole way that I looked at imaging. but I still had a couple of clients. My first client was in 1996. It was a small AC station in Manchester, New Hampshire, and they paid me $5 to voice a page of liners. So don't get any bright ideas, Mr. DreZ, okay?
Hey, dude, I would sign me up, man. I'll read a page for $5 all day, man. That's fantastic. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I still do some imaging work in addition to doing voice. I do some work for some non-commercial stations. I'm a big fan of the AAA format too, and so I do some work for those guys. But you know, the part about branding radio, and even though radio has come across some hard times, and you know, we have a lot of competition, I still believe in it. I still believe in its impact. I still believe in its immediacy. And so I'm always very grateful and appreciative, especially in terms of longevity, to be a part of the Bear. I sometimes wake up and think, wow, I'm still a part of the Bear, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of crazy to think about, because we, believe it or not, we were going to do, because the Bear turned 21 in 2020. We were planning like this whole big beer festival kind of, we're turning 21 event sort of thing, and obviously for obvious reasons that didn't happen. We're maybe going to be like, oh yeah, we're 23 this year. I don't know, but yeah, we've been around for a while, and if you've been our voice guy for the whole time, which I could be wrong. I mean, I guess math wise that would mean 99 or something. Does that sound about right? But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty hardcore. It's pretty awesome to think that we've been in this format for that long, and that you've been our main go-to guy for that long, which is phenomenal. Like, I don't know. I know you're on a couple other stations and you're the voice guy, but I don't know if any of them have that longevity. Like you said, I know people flip formats left and right. So
I think your station is one of a handful. I can think of the only other station that I've been a part of that long that has stayed in the format is the station in Eugene, Oregon, and they're still, you know, I guess they're posing, you know, themselves as alternative rock, okay. So they're still in the format, and I'm still on the radio station.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah, really awesome, man. And you know what else is awesome? Is that you're talking about the immediacy and how you believe in radio. And here we are drinking beer on the radio. This is the job, man. The dream job, Matt.
Right,
right. And I don't know how you're feeling, but I don't know. Maybe it's this double IPA getting to me. But I swear, I am feeling really good about this jam. And Nate, how's yours treating you over there? What was it? Duckfoot, right?
I've got a lot of comments.
Okay, chime in. You've been quiet over there. Sorry, we've been running the show.
I told you this was
Matt's.
It's
happen. Like a celebrity to me. He's been the
Matt
voice guy. I've never talked to him before.
I just listen.
I've been stealing the whole show. Giving Nate no space.
No. It's not that. it's just, man, you sound so good talking.
I'm stealing more of this tweed, by the way. I know we do go halvesies, but
this double white IPA, I'm going to go ahead and tap it right now. This is a style that does not need to exist. Why? Just why? And you'll see when you taste it here in a little bit. There's too many spices going on, and your taste buds just.
They're trying too hard, dog.
They are trying too hard. I'm giving it a 2.
What?
A 2.
That bad? Oh my gosh. So, all right, so here's the thing. Like you said, me and Huck did the show for a while. That is by far your lowest score that I've ever been a part of. Wow. I don't know if you've been dish out 2s when you and Huck were doing it for my absence.
It's a 2.
Wow. That's disappointing, because this is my favorite beer style, and well, it's disappointing because truth, full disclosure, Matt, we go halvesies so that we can each try the beer. You know, I'm about to give him the other half of this 5. This Boss Tweed is delicious. So that actually is kind of sad to me that now I'm gonna have to follow it up with whatever crap that you're drinking over there.
I'm so sorry. I will take one for the team. I'll take the knee.
Oh man, that's very sad.
This is historic.
It really is. I don't know. I mean, we've dished out very low scores. Usually they're when we do NA shows. We've done a couple of those for whatever reason, or sometimes we've branched out. We do seltzers every now and then, or something funky. But man, a 2 to a double IPA, I don't think that's ever happened on Brewsday Tuesday.
Double white IPA.
You think that's what it is?
Oh, I think it's the.
Are you
white
bringing?
in there.
Is it? You're bringing race into this? You think it's why has it got to be the white IPA that gets a 2?
Just how it all shook out. I don't know. There's
know.
like coriander going on.
It's too much.
Why?
You did read off a lot.
The spices are sort of like overwhelming things,
Yeah.
Nate. Yeah.
Very much so. There's no like concrete flavor or any sense of what should go into the beer.
Wow. All right. Well, we have quite the opposing double IPAs in this studio. How's the studio over in Ohio treating you, man? I mean, that beer, I know, like you said, you want to lick the table, so I'm guessing it's tasting pretty good. Has it warmed up maybe a little bit more? How
it is. It is pretty good. I also have to say thank you to Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store.
There you go.
Because not only did I mess you up at the beginning of the show, but I'm proud that you're a sponsor of this show. Yeah, I mean, I think as this warms up, and sometimes I have a tendency to sort of hold my hands over the glass to maybe even kind of warm it up even a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see a listing of the hop profile in this beer, but one of my favorite hops is Simcoe. And I'm really getting a lot of Simcoe-ness. Now, there may not be Simcoe hops in this, but that's what I'm getting. This is a thick mouthfeel. It's not viscous at all. As this warms up, I'm almost getting a little hint of vanilla in this.
Ooh.
And that might be from all the different hop profiles. But this is, my suggestion to all of your listeners, get your nose in that glass, especially when that glass warms up. I mean, just get your nose, and that's part of the great thing about getting a flight, is that you can take a sip of that flight, but don't drain it. Let that flight, warm up just a little bit, and then just like get that thing right on your nose, and just you start to get a sense to all kind of really interesting nuances coming through this beer. I would probably be in the 4.5 range on this beer. I think it looks great. I mean, it's hazy, but it is a nice, straw to orange color, decent head retention. Sometimes these double IPAs, they get a little watery and they don't really maintain their head. And one of the things I really like about a beer, like when you have a little nitrogen tab in it, like an old speckled hen or something like that, where it maintains that head like all the way down the glass, and it has that good lacing in the glass.
Oh yeah.
And one, that you have a good beer clean glass, and two, that the brewer really fashion extra care and attention to that beer, because when they're done with that glass and you see all that lacing on it, you just look at it and go, man, that was a delicious beer. It's just almost like the end result of something really beautiful and pristine. And Taft did a really good job on this beer, a really good job. I really like the Simcoe-ness of this beer.
Yeah, man, Simcoe hops is definitely one to look out for. And of course, Matt, it has been a huge pleasure. Your beer knowledge is just overwhelming, frankly. I think we're going to have to do this again. If you're open to it, man, we would love to have you back on the show.
So. I hope so.
No doubt about it. Nate, as always, man, I appreciate you coming in. Sorry your beer sucked this round because both of ours were winners. It happens. But thanks again to Matt, Anthony, Big Nate, and, of course, our sponsor, the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get back with the tunes right here on 105.3 The Bear, so stick around.